Why are you even in this house? You're like a parasite living off of us here. As soon as the words left my mouth, my mother-in-law wasted no time throwing my belongings out of the window. I protested her irrational actions, asking, "What did you say? Don't you dare talk back to me. Can you pick my stuff up, please?" I pleaded. In response, my mother-in-law put a knife to my throat, paralyzing me with fear. "Get out, or this won't just be a game anymore." "I understand. If that's the case, I'll leave immediately," I replied. She gave me a week to vacate the premises, and I showed respect, though I couldn't suppress a hidden amusement beneath my straight face. Little did she know that I was the one supporting this house. Despite the torment I endured living with my mother-in-law, the fear from earlier vanished. I thought, if you've got what it takes, then prove it. "I'll give you a week. I expect you to be out of here by then," she declared. "Thank you," I said, showing respect, though laughter lingered just beneath the surface. Hoping she didn't notice, I believed my departure would bring peace to our home. Little did she know, leaving her in the family home, I moved to a high-rise apartment. Eventually, she would learn the truth, but by then, it would be too late. I am Valerie Reynolds, applying my past work experience while working from home. It had been 5 years since I married Justin, expecting a peaceful and happy life. However, life took an unexpected turn when Justin had a construction site accident, resulting in the loss of most of the use of his dominant arm. Grateful that he survived, I found myself in the hospital room, tears streaming down my face. My mother-in-law arrived, seemingly oblivious to my presence, rushing to Justin's side. She suggested he stay with her, and I was taken aback by the proposal. When she noticed my surprise, she coldly questioned, "What's wrong? Do you have a problem with that?" "No, it's not that. It's just a bit sudden. With my son like this, I can't leave everything up to you," I retorted, irritated by her words. Justin, however, expressed his trust in me, saying, "Valerie has been working hard all this time. That's why I trust her going forward." My mother-in-law, displeased, made an inaudible noise, but she couldn't sway my determination. "Well, anyway, come to the house as soon as you're discharged from the hospital. Of course you're invited, Valerie. That goes without saying." I could predict what would happen if everything were left up to my mother-in-law. "By the way, Valerie, I'm leaving all the moving arrangements to you." "Everything?" "That's a bit much," my husband chimed in. "It's too much for one person to handle alone. Mom, please help her out." I hoped he would insist more strongly, but it seemed my mother-in-law had no intention of helping and ignored my husband's words. "I have my own things to do, you know," she smirked at me, unnoticed by my husband. It felt ominous, and so began our life living with my mother-in-law. A month later, my husband was discharged from the hospital, and I was busy with the move, leaving the task of picking him up to my mother-in-law. She came to me and said, "Aren't you done yet? I told you today was Justin's discharge day, and yet you didn't even come to pick him up." "But that's because, you see, Justin," I started, but my husband interrupted. "Just like I said, right? This person only thinks about herself." My mother-in-law's intention was clear. She was trying to make me look bad in front of my husband. I decided not to take her obvious bait. Looking at my husband, he had a warm and understanding look in his eyes. "Come on, Mom, stop this. It's unsightly. I'm doing this for your sake." "Well, no one asked you to wait." The sight of my mother-in-law running after my husband was comically pathetic. When she noticed, she glared at me with an evil expression. Not that her glare meant anything to me. "Justin, you can just take it easy and relax at home from now on," I suggested. "That's impossible. My right hand might not work, but I don't want to be a burden on Valerie," he replied. "I can understand that, but you've just been discharged from the hospital. Still, I can be satisfied if I don't do something." Justin was adamant, and initially, I had hoped he would take some time to relax. But seeing his determination, I decided to respect his wishes. Doing everything at once might be too much, so how about starting with some light cleaning? It could be good for rehabilitation. That's a good idea. I don't know if this hand will ever fully recover, but it's better than doing nothing. But on one condition, don't overdo it. Got it? I wouldn't want to be scolded. It's scary to make you angry. Justin acted as if nothing was wrong, making it clear that he didn't want to make me worry. So, I resolved to work even harder for the both of us. However, I had forgotten about one person who would interfere. Valerie, wait a minute. What's the matter? Why is Justin cleaning? You must have forced him to do it, right? Your words are just a front, my mother-in-law accused. She judged things only by what she saw, oblivious to the underlying thoughts and emotions. Dealing with that was a challenge in itself. You're always just cooped up in your room playing around. Honestly, in such a situation with your husband seriously injured. Actually, I'm working. It's called remote work these days. I've had enough of that excuse. It's not an excuse, I replied. Just then, my mother-in-law grabbed a nearby trash can and threw it at me. Luckily, it didn't hit me directly, but the trash went everywhere. I lost the energy to explain things to her further. It was clear from the start that she had no intention of listening. This trash is disgusting. Clean it up yourself, she said. As I sighed and started picking it up, Justin approached me and asked, "Hey, what happened?" "Oh, this is just a small incident," I replied with a forced smile. But Justin seemed to have realized something. He usually appears calm, but sometimes he's surprisingly perceptive. Did Mom do something? Are you hiding something? Can you be honest with me? Justin was looking at me with a serious expression. Seeing his face, I felt that I couldn't lie, so I told him what had happened. Got it. I'll talk to Mom about this. Oh, it's fine. You really. But it's not okay. I'll talk to her properly. No, but that is. I was happy to get his help, but I was worried about what would come next. In the end, I would be the one blamed. I stared at the ceiling, deep in thought. Night came, and I thought Valerie was just playing around. That's not true. Valerie has been working hard, even doing my share. Then why were you cleaning? I offered to do it. I can't just sit around doing nothing at home. But you just got out of the hospital. I know my own body best. Justin's stern words silenced his mother. She might not have expected her son to speak to her like that. But if she really does think that she's above such things, she's just arrogant. I hoped that this would calm her down a bit. That day, Justin went out for rehabilitation, leaving me alone with my mother-in-law. As I was working in my room as usual, she showed up. Can we talk? Sorry, can you wait just a bit, about 15 more minutes? No, I can't wait right now. All right, I'm coming. I hurried along and went to the living room where an unknown woman was waiting for us. Excuse me, who is this? Have a seat first. We'll talk after that. I had no choice but to follow my mother-in-law, but I couldn't grasp the situation. As I was trying to figure it out, the woman started speaking. So this is the one you were talking about, the wife who just plays around without working? Yes, it's true. My mother-in-law was laughing eerily. So you realize that you're an unnecessary presence in this house. What are you talking about? Looking around, I saw them sighing. I didn't understand. Suddenly confronted by a stranger and put down as the target of blame. If I could, I would have left that place in an instant. Don't you understand? Unnecessary people are not needed here. What do you mean? Everyone answers that way. More perplexing questions followed. They kept insisting on how incompetent I was. Enduring such accusations could mentally exhaust anyone. Isn't it time you realized your place? Shouldn't I be asking you how dare a daughter-in-law toy her mother-in-law, spending time on such unproductive things? Isn't it a waste of time? What the nerve of a daughter-in-law, really now? I felt like I was reaching my limit. I didn't know what my mother-in-law would do if she got angrier. That's when I came up with an idea. Oh, isn't it about time that Justin comes back from rehab? Is it that time already? Just then, the unknown woman left quickly. I'll come again soon. Okay, I'll be waiting for you. Let's talk again. My mother-in-law and her friend were fooled. In reality, Justin wouldn't be home for another hour. It was just getting good. Speaking of which, who was that woman? I finally asked a question that had been on my mind. That's Susan, a close friend of mine. She wanted to meet you after hearing about you. It wasn't hard to guess how my mother-in-law had introduced me. Probably as a useless wife who does nothing but play around. I pitied my mother-in-law for doing nothing else but that. So that's the case. Well, Justin will be back a bit later. I'm going back to work now. As I was about to return to my room, she said, "Wait, what do you mean?" Just as I said, he's not coming back yet. You lied. You didn't realize. Why do you act like this? I decided to use this opportunity to speak my mind. Any further interference from my mother-in-law would just be a nuisance. Actually, you were the one who started things, right? You called your friend because you can't do anything alone. That's not true. I can handle you fine by myself. Then why don't you try to see if you really can? I deliberately provoked my mother-in-law, thinking this would prompt her to take some action, and as expected, she reacted. If you want to apologize, now is the time. I have no such intention. At that, my mother-in-law exploded in anger, grabbing a nearby vase and throwing it at me, similar to how she had previously thrown the trash can. I had anticipated it and easily dodged, even showing a provocative smile. "Hello, I'm home." Just then, Justin came back. My mother-in-law was visibly shaken. "Why are you home already? It's not time yet." "Oh, sorry, I lied earlier. I was actually on my way back." "Why would you do that?" "Isn't it obvious?" I said, pointing to the shattered vase. I couldn't help but find the situation amusing. Hey, what's this? What happened?" "Your mom threw it at me." "What do you mean?" "You know, a lady just came over claiming to be your mom's friend." I told Justin everything that happened. He showed a mix of being surprised and angry. "Is that true, Mom?" Well. "So it's true then. Why would you do that?" "I didn't mean to." Watching my mother-in-law being scolded, I felt a sense of retribution for all the hardships I had endured. "Well, I have something to do, so okay, wait." I ignored my mother-in-law's words and returned to my room, thinking this would end her bullying. I truly believed it. After that, calm days continued for a while. But having stayed up all night, I dozed off past noon. "Sorry to wake you, but can you come here for a moment?" "Okay, sure." Justin seemed unusually serious. My mother-in-law was there in the living room. "What's going on?" "Look at this." I looked at the table to find a disassembled plastic model scattered about. It was one of Justin's hobbies, and he had treasured it. When I came home, it was like this. "Do you know anything?" "No, I have no clue." I couldn't think of any reason for it. This plastic model was in my father-in-law's room before, but of course, I hadn't been in that room today, nor had entered it recently. Someone must have broken it for it to be like this. My eyes naturally turned towards my mother-in-law. She was the only suspect. My mother-in-law had a strange, eerie smile on her face, like she was possessed. I understood the situation. Even if someone broke it, I was out. I met Justin on my way back from Susan's place, remember? "Yes, but..." And then I found this in the room. My mother-in-law was holding a shiny object. "Is that an earring?" I instinctively checked my own ears. My left earring was missing. I was certain of my suspicions. It was clear revenge on me for last time. "This is yours, isn't it, Mallory? And it looks like only the left one is missing." I took a deep breath. Showing anger now would mean that I would be playing into her hands. Indeed, it's mine. But isn't it premature to conclude that I broke it? Making excuses is so unbecoming. We have evidence. Still, anyway, it's broken. Wait a minute. Justin left the room. At that moment, my mother-in-law's gaze was fixed on me. The situation made me feel like Justin saw me as a criminal, and I just stood there stunned. "It's a shame. This would have been the end of you if you did it. You set a trap, didn't you? You'll find no evidence anywhere. If only you had followed my advice, this wouldn't have happened." If I explain things to him properly, he'll understand, will he? Her words became reality. No matter how much I insisted to Justin that it wasn't my fault, he wouldn't take me seriously. Wait, I haven't done anything wrong. Maybe, I get it. He immediately averted his gaze. Laughter echoed from behind us. See? I told you so. What does that matter? It's sad that you don't want to admit defeat. After that, I immersed myself in work. It was almost like escaping from reality. Conversations with Justin became less frequent, and about 2 weeks went by. During this time, my mother-in-law seemed quite pleased with herself. You seem down lately. Is there something troubling you? There's no need for you to worry. Please stop. It's too late for that. Acting tough is useless. On this day, my mother-in-law was in an especially good mood. My feeling of foreboding came true, eventually becoming reality. It happened while I was cleaning the room. Why are you even in this house? You're like a parasite living off of us here. What's gotten into you all of a sudden? You always talk back, such a noisy daughter-in-law. After saying that, she threw my belongings out of the window. What are you doing? I protested her insane actions, questioning what had gotten into her. You're too noisy, always talking back. Can you pick my stuff up, please? I said, hoping for some reason to prevail. But as I said that, my mother-in-law put a knife to my throat. I was frozen in fear, unable to move. It's better if you stay still. A normal person wouldn't do this, I managed to utter, but my mother-in-law was clearly deranged. If you don't leave now, next time it won't be just a joke. I understand. I'll leave, I said, realizing that staying would only drag me further into her madness. You have a week. Leave before then, thank you. It was evident that staying would only worsen things. In her madness, my mother-in-law didn't understand who truly supported this house. She lived comfortably and leisurely thanks to me, yet she really knew nothing. Pack up quickly, she ordered, and I obliged. A smile formed on my lips as I bowed my head. But I couldn't let her suspect anything. I quickly composed my face. This will bring peace back to our home. I'm so happy, she remarked. But her happiness was short-lived. I couldn't help but think about the true hell awaiting her. After my mother-in-law had gone to bed, I explained the situation to Justin. I see. So it has come to this. Actually, I have something to tell you too, he said with a serious tone, surprising me. What? Yes, various things. We'll talk about it later, okay? His serious tone made me raise my voice in surprise, but he assured me we'd discuss it later. 3 days after being told to leave the house by my mother-in-law, I found a new place. Now the promised week was almost up. Well, today's the day of the promise. You understand, right? I asked Justin. Yes, the movers are scheduled to arrive soon, he replied. But when I inquired about Justin's whereabouts, he seemed to have gone out since the morning. Well, never mind. The thought of not having to see your face anymore is enough. I'm going out now. Make sure everything's clean, understood? I told my mother-in-law, smiling, though not genuinely. An hour later, the moving company arrived and loaded all my belongings. I contacted Justin. All packed up, got it. Just make sure you get there safely, okay? See you later, he said, ending the call. I was excited to think about what would happen when my mother-in-law returned. Finally, the moment of completing the move arrived. What have you done? Justin's belongings are nowhere to be found. My mother-in-law exclaimed. Of course, we moved out together. No way. Do you want to check with him? I got out my phone, set it to speaker, and handed it to my mother-in-law, who still couldn't grasp the situation. Justin confirmed the plan, leaving my mother-in-law bewildered. This was my plan all along, Mom, I admitted. Justin, what's happening? Tell me, she pleaded. Actually, about the model kit incident, we know that you did it, Justin declared, putting an end to her denials. There's no way Valerie would do such a thing, he added, defending me. Why do you think that? Because it was a gift from Valerie. She wouldn't break it on purpose, Justin reasoned. My mother-in-law was at a loss for words. realizing that she had been supported by the very person she had mistreated. "Well, then, you'll have to manage on your own from here on out," Justin concluded. "But I don't work. If you two leave me, that's the choice you made," she said, coming to terms with the consequences of her actions. "Mom, it's no longer our business." "Well, it's time for each of us to do our best," Justin remarked, ending the conversation. We felt relieved. We had hoped for a good relationship at first but quickly gave up. Now my mother-in-law chose her own fate. "But why did you keep it a secret about that?" "What about Mom?" "It's like they say, deceive your allies to deceive your enemy," Justin explained. "You can't mean enemy," I said in disbelief. We looked at each other and burst out laughing. Finally, we could have a peaceful life together. About a month later, Justin expressed some doubts. "You seem down lately. Is there something troubling you?" "There's no need for you to worry. Please stop. It's too late for that. Acting tough is useless," I assured him. On this day, my mother-in-law was in an especially good mood. My feeling of foreboding came true, eventually becoming reality.